The upset alert concern meter this week is pinging for me on a lot of these games. Ole Miss, Arkansas. I want to start you with that one. I'm going to put a 6.5 on the 1 to 10 scale on the upset alert concern meter here. There is no wiggle room. Whereas maybe a month or two ago, you looked at this game on the schedule and you thought, ooh, Ole Miss, let's see, they'll either be an undefeated team or maybe a one-loss team max, and they're going to go up there to Northwest Arkansas. Maybe at the time you thought Arkansas was going to be out of it and they're dead in the water. Well, neither of those things is true. Ole Miss has already got a couple of losses here. And Arkansas, they really got off the deck last week. Like, they played inspired football against Mississippi State. What does that mean? It doesn't mean much other than they haven't mailed the season in like some teams have this time of year. Good offenses, each one of them when they're peaking. My potential problem is Ole Miss has not topped 27 points in each of their past 4 games. We don't call that peaking. Arkansas hung over half 100 last week, by the way. Now, here's what gives me confidence that Ole Miss is going to get the job done here and why I'm only going to make it a 6.5 on the upset alert concern scale. Because I'm looking at the #1 defense in the country in points per game. Ole Miss, yes. I don't think many people realize that. They've been so stuck on how hot and cold the offense is. Defense has been getting the job done, and Arkansas is 121st in the country in pressure rate allowed. So get to the quarterback, disrupt, do your part offensively, and I think Ole Miss will live here. They will escape with a win, and then it's time to start looking at that Georgia game. Louisville is playing Clemson this weekend. I think based on the JP poll, which has been favorable to Louisville, you may look at this and you may say he's gonna call for the upset here. I'm not. I'm putting a 4 on the upset alert concern meter. This is a schedule dynamics special. You guys remember a couple of weeks ago, we made LSU one of our best bets. I thought they'd beat Ole Miss outright. Some people had disparaging comments towards us when we made that pick. Well, why did I make the pick? You didn't need to know a thing about football to make that pick. You just needed to have a handy-dandy helmet grid schedule in your hand. Same thing here. I don't even care if you know who plays quarterback for Louisville. Here's what you need to know. This is their 7th game in 7 weeks. It's their 3rd road game in the past 4 weeks. Clemson is off a bye. Clemson is at home. And oh, by the way, whereas last year was kind of up and down offensively for Clemson, they're top 10 in a lot of offensive categories right now. It's a massive step up in quality of competition for Clemson. I will grant you that. I think they'll be shot out of a cannon this week. I think Clemson's going to win and cover, by the way. Maybe a little prelude to Friday Night Lines. So I am going to put a 4 on this. Because the thing about it is, I respect Louisville. I'm actually higher on Louisville, I think, than most of the country is. This is a really bad spot for them. Really bad. Next up, here we go. Indiana. Is it the Michigan game, Josh? Nope. Is it the Ohio State week yet? No, it's not. Nope, they're just going to play Michigan State. We cannot talk like that, friends. We cannot talk like that, all due respect to Indiana. We cannot talk like that about the Hoosiers yet. It's just construction. That's all it is. Just bear with it. But I'm not going to talk over it. So, pause. You know, if you ever doubted I'm live, don't doubt it anymore. Curtis Rourke probably back for Indiana this week. Probably. Now, they won without him last week. This is a landmine game. I'm concerned about it. I'm concerned about it because I've heard way too much talk about down the road this week with Indiana. I've heard about the Michigan game. I've heard about the Ohio State game. And the thing about it is, Michigan State's lost some recently. Aiden Childs, though, when he's protected, can pop you. And this is not the kind of situation where you can afford to overlook competition. They've played up several weeks in a row, have the Indiana Hoosiers. There is a down week coming. I don't know if it includes a loss. This is unbelievable that this is happening, by the way. I'm just going to pause while we have to listen to construction go on beneath us. Okay, I'm putting an 8 on this. The line is 7.5 on this game. I'm putting an 8 on the upset alert concern scale. I'm not going as far as to call for the outright upset, but you can hear it in my voice. I'm concerned. They outplayed Michigan last week. Like, Michigan State outplayed Michigan everywhere but the scoreboard, that pesky scoreboard at the end of the day. So a much more dangerous team, which leads me to my next game, because I think Iowa State is playing an infinitely more dangerous team than they look on the scoreboard. Iowa State's like a 12.5-point favorite against lowly Texas Tech. Texas Tech has a tailback that is 3rd in college football right now. in rush yards per game. And the thing about that is Iowa State is 99th in the country in stopping the run. It profiles as a game very similar to the UCF game a couple of weeks ago. UCF, double-digit underdog against Iowa State, but they come in there and they hang around. They've got the lead until late, and Iowa State needs a comeback to win. I don't know if it's that kind of game, but it's November. You're breathing very rarefied air if you're Iowa State now. I'm putting an 8 on this, and you know how much that kills me because I am surfing on the Iowa State hype wave. By any means necessary this weekend, please. Pitt is at SMU. You know, JP Poll took a lot of flack this week because I had SMU in the top 20, 21 I think it was, and we did not have Pitt power rated in the top 25. Now, people took that to mean I was disrespecting Pitt. I couldn't care less about respect or disrespect. I was telling you there are more than 25 teams in the country that would be favored over Pitt, and that's all I'm trying to do with a power rating, which I've explained ad nauseum. So, someone who I didn't really take time to reference on the show, came at me and said, it's disrespectful to have SMU above Pitt. Well, no, it's not. And conveniently, they play here. And SMU's favored by 7.5, which implies about a 4.5 gap between them and Pitt on a neutral field. That's the end. I don't care if Pitt wins the game by 50. The JP poll did its job here, having SMU above Pitt. Now, as for the game, yeah, I'm concerned. I know Pitt well enough to know to be concerned here. I've got a 7 on the upset alert concern scale. SMU quarterback questionable. That downgrades them, I think, fairly significantly if he cannot go. But they were -6 in turnovers and still found a way to win last week. A lot of people view that as a negative. I view that as you ran a red light and didn't have to pay the price. I texted Rhett Lashley that actually. You ran a red light, you didn't have to pay the price. And you know what? He did not disagree, nor could he. I think SMU is going to win this game, but I am not totally confident in it, so I'm going to put a 7 on the upset alert concern scale. This last game I saved for last for a reason. There's no way. I mean, producer Jesse has asked that we include Kentucky, Tennessee, because according to him, the streets want to talk about this game. There's just no way. I'm putting a 1.5 on this. There is no, well, I'm going to say there's about a 1 in 100's way. The line on the game's 15.5. We bet it earlier this week. It's up to 16.5 now. It's one of our best bets of the week. Tennessee has been limited at times offensively this year, even if they are. I'm telling you, Kentucky's dealing with that times 5. So, short of multiple turnovers, which there's no way to forecast, that would be the way that Tennessee loses. Short of that happening, there is no way I see a world that Tennessee loses. And I'm looking at their schedule over here. They got Kentucky. They got Mississippi State at home. The next time they leave home will be a game I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, and that's at Georgia. I mean, there's seemingly one giant hurdle left, and that's on the road. They're a one-loss team right now. So even if they lose that Georgia game. Anyway, that's not the point of this segment. I'm putting a 1.5 on the upset alert concern scale there.